Worse? How can things get any worse? Take a look around you, Ellen. We're at the threshold of hell. Welcome in to the Bro Force Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is episode 95. Could I say that number right?
It's a great year.
2019. It was a great year. Christmas movie watch list. I'm your host, the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Before we get started with the movie discussion, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. And first we go into the lab to the mad scientist Brian Banner. Banner, what concoction will you be cooking up this year for Santa to leave at your house?
Probably the same as always. It's a staple. It's tradition. Why break tradition? Brownies and beer.
But is there something fun in those brownies, though?
It depends on if you're naughty or nice that year.
Why does that feel sexual? I don't know. Santa gets so fucked up at your house that like everyone else in your neighborhood is just shit out of luck, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Santa should have experience going to their house so many times he plans it to be the last house he visits.
Yeah. No, it's not the last house. It's like the fourth from last house. So he's like, all right, I gotta eat these brownies and I gotta get home. I got these last three, so it should be kicking in right as the reindeer land.
So I know the reindeer technically like power the sleigh, but he does steer them with the reins. If he got pulled over, would that be considered a DUI?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. You can't be doing that. He's got to throw the keys out of the back of the sled or something.
Yeah.
But then the cop will be like, number one, why do you not have keys? Number two, complete opposite direction. Why would you need them?
And also, don't the reindeer know the path by now? They've been doing it for thousands of years, right? I mean, how complex is it?
I don't know, man. But like, I could see him just coming down the chimney, Banner sitting on the couch, like, sup, and they just have a beer together, and then he fucking skips the rest of his houses.
I'd totally have a beer with Santa Claus.
All right. Next, we go to our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli. So, Ronnie, speaking of Santa, if I were to catch him or any of his reindeer trespassing on my property this year, what type of legal recourse would I have at my disposal to try and get a nice little payday in time for the new year?
You absolutely need to shoot him and hold him hostage. Mrs. Claus will pay.
Both?
Yeah. All of them.
Just kneecap him.
I have a damaged Santa or possibly a dead Santa held hostage. Like the price goes.
Is it still holding him hostage if he's dead?
Look, if he's breaking and entering into your house without your permission, you can do whatever you want with him. And Mrs. Claus doesn't need to know if he's dead or alive.
I felt sexual.
Tell her to pay up.
Why is this like the most sexual intros we've ever done?
And they literally have zero to do with sex.
No.
Tell Mrs. Claus she's got to go down on her knees if she wants to see him.
You know what? Like a shameless plug. You know what did actually get overtly sexual? Our Santa Claus is Coming to Town movie commentary.
In a really weird way.
Matt talking about like how sexless the marriage is between Santa and Mrs. Claus and how it's created all these problems at the North Pole.
Did he say do the elves get involved?
Yeah, he said like she's clearly fucking like the couple of the elves, like the main elf.
Yeah, like the main one like, showed up.
Santa's such a cuck that he knows it and doesn't even care. It goes off the rails. All right. So if you've listened to our show before, then you know that we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. And our chest day today starts with one of my favorite quotes from a TV show ever. Ho, 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 pimp! 'Tis the season, and we wanted to discuss what's on our Christmas watch list this year. So before we get to the presents, our end of the year show, our 2020 movie preview show, and of course the audio we record every year of Geiger going on a drunken tirade at the Christmas dinner table against the Taiwanese government. Let's talk about what we're watching this holiday season. So Banner had a great idea here. So we're each going to share two Christmas staples that we have. So two Christmas movies that we watch basically every year on a rotation. And then a Christmas movie that either everyone else seems to like that we just can't get behind, or honestly a Christmas movie that's really popular or well-known that we just haven't fucking seen, which could be a little interesting here. I was looking at some of the older ones, and I'm like, haven't seen that. So how about we each go around and say our two Christmas staples every single year? And Banner, since it was your idea, of course, why don't you open your present first?
All right. So I don't think this is any shock to anybody, but Christmas with the Cranks. I don't like it ironically. I genuinely like it. I think it's a fun, silly movie. I think Tim Allen is just fun old Tim Allen that we knew from the 90s in that movie again. It's just a fun movie. Watch it every single year.
Is Jamie Lee Curtis's wife in that?
Yes.
Okay. So I
And
get that.
they have really good chemistry.
What-
They play off each other really well.
What is the name of the? Sorry, Cycling.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's the name of the Christmas movie? It's similar to that with Matthew Broderick and fuck. Is it Rita Wilson plays his wife? I'll look it up.
I have
Cyc-
no idea what I don't know if I ever heard
So I
that.
actually haven't seen it. Can you give me a brief synopsis? Are they just a wacky family like a lot of other Christmas movies?
So it's Tim Allen's the dad and Jamie Lee Curtis is the mom, and they have a daughter who, instead of coming home for Christmas from college, she is going to stay in like Peru or something with her new boyfriend. So they decide we're gonna go on a cruise over Christmas, and their neighborhood is really into Christmas. And then all of a sudden, their daughter calls and says, "Hey, I'm bringing my boyfriend home for Christmas because I was telling him what it is, and they don't have that here. So I want to show him how we do Christmas." And it's them having like 3 days to get everything ready for Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Matthew Broderick movie is called Deck the Halls, and it has Danny DeVito in it.
That sounds like a way better movie.
I'll
Well-
watch any DeVito. So.
It's from 2006. It's basically like two neighbors competing to see who decorates their Christmas house better, and hilarity ensues.
Oh man, wacky stuff.
I almost included, and this is kind of a spoiler alert, I guess, but not really because it's not the one I chose. But I almost included that as to my Christmas movie that I haven't seen because I have not seen it.
It's on like Freeform every year.
Such a freeform movie.
It's a total Freeform movie.
God, what's your other one?
My other one is Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, it's a Halloween movie. So
No, it is
On-
not. It's a Christmas movie.
I always forget which side of the argument I'm on.
I do too. I always switch.
I think I'm the Christmas side, to be honest.
Well,
It's
I thought I
it's
was
it's about
interested-
Christmas. It's about him trying to bring Christmas joy to Halloween Town.
Yeah, but the song is "This Is Halloween." Like, I can't be in the Christmas spirit singing "This is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween." Like, I don't know. I go back and forth.
I don't know. It's a Christmas movie. It has Christmas in its name. It doesn't have Halloween in its name.
It's the general idea behind it.
General idea.
His name is Jack Skellington.
Okay, because he's from Halloween Town.
He
It's
came
about
back, just like we were talking about.
Banner, I don't think saying he's from Halloween Town helps support that it's not a Halloween movie.
no, it is because he's trying to bring Christmas joy to them. That's all it is.
I also think it's bullshit because I'm pretty sure, and I'm not going to dig it up on past episodes, but I'm pretty sure I'm the one that gets to argue that it's a Christmas movie. I think you flip sides, and I don't
have
care
not
enough to.
flipped sides. I swear. I've been on It's a
I-
Christmas Movie for a long time.
I just think the point is we have to argue about it, so fuck you, it's a Halloween movie.
If there's any of our fans out there, please comment below and tell us what side we're on.
Honestly, I think it should be a Thanksgiving movie. You should watch it at Thanksgiving.
There we go. That's splitting the
That's,
difference.
that's many in the middle, which we never do on this pod. So no, I will argue it to the death.
I'll say this though, and we've kind of shit on this guy in recent years, but I think that's the last good Tim Burton movie. Like, remember when we looked at like his filmography? It's pretty dicey after that.
He just did something recently that I was like, I
Dumbo?
had, yeah,
You
I
like-
had no idea. Did I like it?
Yeah.
I've only watched like 30 minutes of it.
Well, Cyclic probably loved it because Danny DeVito's in it.
Oh yeah, with his Magnum dong.
I was gonna say, get his dick out your mouth, Jesus. All right, Cyclic, what are your Christmas staple movies?
So I will start with my second favorite, which is A Christmas Story. And I know you guys just did the commentary on that, but as everyone knows, they do the 24 hours of A Christmas Story on TNT every year, starting at 7 o'clock on Christmas Eve. And my family has had that tradition since I was a little kid, since the first Christmas I can remember. We don't ever,
1997.
yeah, probably. And I remember we never sit and watch the whole movie. never have we ever sat and just watched them film. We put it on TNT starting at 7, and we turn off TNT starting at 7 the next night. And throughout the whole day and Christmas and presents and lunch and dinner, we are able to watch the whole movie in a kind of disjointed form, but it's just always been our tradition. And, you know, we can quote the whole movie. So it's not Christmas Without It. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Christmas movie ever, but it just is Christmas Day to me. And then go ahead.
I was gonna say normally I would poo-poo that, but because there is such a strong family tradition behind it, it makes total sense. And I'll get into my thoughts after rewatching it on a commentary because I have historically been hard on the movie on the podcast.
I'm just gonna say that I don't know that I had ever in my life seen that movie in one setting until we recently recorded that commentary, because it's always on TNT, and it was 1997 because Geiger looked it up while we did the commentary. That's when they started doing the 24-hour A Christmas Story.
That's awesome. So yeah, I would have been 9, 10 years old. So yeah, like I said, I agree. It's probably not the best movie out there, but it's just such a staple in our household. But this one, I will die on a hill defending my favorite Christmas movie of all time, The Muppets Christmas Carol. We have talked about that movie before on this podcast. We did a commentary, I think last year on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's not every song is a fucking banger in that movie. I mean, from Gonzo and Rizzo narrating, Michael Caine to being like taking the role absolutely seriously as Scrooge from start to finish. He sells it the whole time. I mean, there is not one bad scene in that movie. I was actually genuinely afraid of that movie when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
the Ghost of Christmas Future. My God. But I could quote that whole movie. It is literally will always be my favorite Christmas movie.
Also, I've heard that every day in every way, Scrooge is getting worse.
I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, I'd be pissed off if I was Scrooge too.
Yeah, I mean, the people in the town are assholes to him. They make his life really, really miserable. Great one. Check out our Muppet Christmas Carol movie commentary, one of our most fun holiday ones that we did.
I totally forgot we did that.
Yeah, was that last year or 2 years ago? I think it was last year.
Yeah, no, I think.
I don't remember.
Cycly was visiting me when we did it. I remember that.
That would have been 2 years ago.
Yeah, because I don't think Baby Banner was born yet.
Yeah.
Well, it was a classic still. My two. First one is one that might be a little bit off the radar because it's a little bit older, but it's a movie called All I Want for Christmas. I think this is from like 92 or 93. I talk about this a lot, I think, but it stars Ethan Embry and Thora Birch, who is probably most famous for being Kevin Spacey's daughter in American Beauty. But it's just a classic tale. It's about a brother and sister whose parents are divorced. It's their first Christmas with them separated. And the little girl asks Santa to get them back together for Christmas. And her older brother, played by Ethan Embry, there's no magic or anything fucking stupid in it, but her older brother, Ethan Embry, basically takes it upon himself to try and get them back together so that she won't like lose faith in Santa Claus and like the magic of Christmas. It's like a family comedy. Kevin Nealon from SNL is in it, like probably around the time he was doing Weekend Update. And it's just a feel-good movie, man. I've watched it probably every year, literally every year since I was maybe like 4 or 5 years old. All I Want for Christmas. If you have not seen it, I cannot recommend it highly.
You've been trucking this down our throats for a while now, so I guess it's probably about time we watch it.
Nothing would make me happier than you viewing that movie. It's great.
Maybe I'll get that for you for Christmas.
And my last one here, I had a tie between two movies. So they're both comedies. The first one is, I think, just really relatable for me, and that's Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon.
It's a great one.
Just because I'm about to get married here in May, and that's going to be like our lives at Christmas, like trying to see, because, you know, two divorced families and trying to make sure you see everybody throughout the day, give everybody their time, get to see all your loved ones. And I just love Vince Vaughn. Like, Geiger and I are absolutely obsessed with the scene where they go to the church service and he gets tabbed to play Joseph in the nativity play, and he's like trying to put his own spin on Joseph. and like how he would react to finding out that Mary's pregnant with the baby Jesus.
Okay, now I have to see this movie.
Yeah, he's like, God,
Oh,
there's
it's
so many
great.
ways I can go with this.
Jon Favreau's in it.
When he's like, there's so many ways I can go with this, Reese Witherspoon's like, please don't, and he's like workshopping his character in the back. And then my last one is The Night Before with Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Where, because to me, this is just like so something we would do, but the plot synopsis is the three high school friends have a tradition where every New Year's Eve they used to just go out in New York City where they live and just get obliterated drunk. And Seth Rogen is having a child due in like a month or so. So they basically say it's the last time they're going to do this. They're retiring the tradition. And they go out and get extra fucked up that night. And I love it because number one, that's totally something we would do. But number two, there is a scene where at one point in the middle of the night, they just go back to Anthony Mackie's house and play GoldenEye on N64.
Oh my
With
god!
each other.
Hell yeah!
You could have sold me on just a movie about that.
Yeah, so that to me was like I was like, dude, this is so realistic right now because they're at the bar and they're fucked up, and he's like, "Do you want to go home and play GoldenEye?" And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like offended that he even asked him that, and then one of them gets mad. He's like, "You can't play as Oddjob.
You absolutely can.
That's cheating.
Odd job.
He's too short."
That's not his problem.
Dude, you're just a fucking snake in the grass. I bet you like to play with golden guns too.
You know, you can press, I think it's R and C down, and you yourself will kneel down. You can move like that. It evens
Yeah,
the
but
game up.
the C down button is not in a place where you can really.
Yeah, nobody uses that button.
Here, dude, unless it's
I
Smash
use it. You can
Brothers.
straight with it. Come on, get
All right, so let's go around and talk about the Christmas movie that either we haven't seen or that we have seen and we just don't get it. We do not understand why people like it so much. Let's go reverse order. Cycle, you first.
I'm gonna get yelled at for this. I've never seen Christmas Vacation.
What?
Yeah, it's never happened.
All right. I know what we're doing this weekend.
I'm appalled.
I'm not. It's not that I'm one of those people that don't want to watch it because people like it. You know, like it's like, oh, it's such a staple that I'm gonna love dying on that hill that I've never seen it. No, I've seen scenes, I've seen famous shots of the movie, I've obviously know some of the quotes. I can't recall one moment in my life where I've actually sat and seen that movie. So I know it definitely needs to change. I know my sister loves the movie. It's just never happened for me. You know, I've been waiting my whole life and it just hasn't come along.
Interesting.
I did not know that.
That just seems so hard because that one's on TV a lot too.
Yeah.
You know, I really feel like a big weight lifted off my chest right now. I really appreciate you guys letting me say that.
I don't know. I mean, don't act like you're forgiven.
Yeah.
Or anything. We'll talk later. Jeez, that one appalls me. All right, Banner, how about you?
I have never seen Elf.
Really?
Wow.
That's
Okay.
on TV more than anything.
Yeah, come on.
I don't really like Will Ferrell, and that was kind of at the end of his he's kind of funny stage for me. And I don't know. I never saw it. I saw a scene where he puts like syrup on spaghetti, and that just grossed me out. And so I was like, I'm not ever gonna go back and watch this.
You should give it a shot. Absolutely.
So-
I can understand Will Ferrell can be a little much, but that movie is really wholesome. It's good.
See, Geiger, I would expect this from because Jon Favreau directed it, and obviously he hates him and Jon Favreau have a spat dating back
Yeah, they
seemingly decades. But for you, who's like, I don't want to say the Favreau guy, but I think you like most Favreau work, right?
yeah, I'm a fan of most of his work.
I don't know, man. I thought you'd be all in on this.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Brian, we're getting together this weekend. We're just going to watch some Christmas movies.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
That
All
sounds
right, Jeff, what's your never seen?
So I don't have anything like as fun as those, but two things I wrote down. So number one, this might not even be a big deal, but I've actually never seen any of the sequels to the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. So I've never seen the second one, the third one. Did they make that's all they made, right?
It just seems like too many of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I saw the second one. I've never seen the third one.
I think the third one has Martin Short as Jack Frost. I think
Yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah, I
And
think
his
that's
son
the third one.
In the third one, his son Charlie is grown up and is like a shithead kid. Is kind of like the plot to it.
Hmm.
He's like but I've never seen any of those. But The main thing I want to say is there is one movie in particular that it's like a cult classic, and I can't even sit through it, and that is Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton.
Uh,
Mhm.
I've seen that movie like once or twice, and I just think it's fucking awful. Like I don't know another way to say it. I think it's
it's been a
horrible.
long time for me. I didn't like it, but it definitely is not one of those movies for everyone. Billy Bob Thornton is always a really hit or miss for me.
It's just
I,
like him
but
being an asshole to a kid. Like it's not really
yeah,
fun.
Yeah, I remember watching it, and I don't remember not hating it, but I remember saying like, yeah, I'll probably never see that again. Like it just there's so many other better options
absolutely.
of Christmas movies.
And I definitely didn't see the second one,
They made a second one?
didn't they? Or am I making that up?
Yeah, they did actually.
Probably did.
Badder
Like,
Santa?
yeah, something
No,
like that.
it was just like a Bad Santa 2 or something
Yeah.
fucking stupid.
No, like I think that's it. I think I would agree with you completely. I remember seeing it. Remember thinking like, oh, there's some funny parts, and not thinking much of it. And then I don't think I've ever seen it again.
The other one is kind of in the same vein. I don't even know if you guys would even go to bat for this movie, but Scrooged with Bill Murray, which is like a darker comedic take on A Christmas Carol. Never seen it. No interest in seeing it, even though I love Groundhog Day. It's not.
No, I'm
It-
same
it-
boat.
I remember I got into a discussion with someone. We were talking about just variations of Christmas Carol, and I was like, "You can't get more perfect than the Muppet Christmas Carol. Why am I going to waste time and watch any other variation of it?" Charles Dickens would watch Muppets Christmas Carol and be like, "That's exactly what I was going for. Why
Yeah.
would he see any other version?"
And the last one that I wanted to add here, it's coming back to A Christmas Story. So I've been pretty hard on it on the podcast, and after we rewatched it on the commentary, I don't love it, but I do think I was a little bit too harsh. And I think, grown adults need to admit when they were, a little bit wrong or out of line. And no, it's not in my top 5 of Christmas movies, but it's definitely not as bad as I made it out to be.
Did you just see it as a kid and not like it? Like, what made it bad to you?
I think a lot of it as a kid was like the time period it was set in. Like I just had no connection to like essentially like the
Yeah.
stock market the crash, excuse me, and what was it like? That was like set in the 40s. I just saw it and I already can't remember. But to me, like more contemporary Christmas movies were always way more relatable and fun. Um, and I just didn't think Ralphie was that. I don't know. But looking back, I realized how many movies have copied the trope of like his imagination.
Uh-huh.
Take like the comedic things that they do with what Ralphie's imagining. Like there's a scene where like uh, bank robbers are like climbing over the fence in his backyard, and he
He's
needs
shooting all of them.
right. He needs the Red Rider to like protect his house. That was hilarious on a rewatch.
Yeah, I always loved that. I don't know. I always loved his little like when he's dreaming of he getting soap poisoning and all his little visions. But I always found the movie so quotable. You know, like you can talk about the fudge or the fragile. Like I don't know. I've always had it as special place. But again, that's probably because of the family tradition.
And Cycling, I kind of wish you were on the commentary because the tongue getting stuck to the pole with the frost. I mean, Dumb and Dumber totally ripped that off, and I don't feel like anyone ever talks about that.
Oh yeah,
Like,
just a little more wholesome in Christmas Story.
that's true. All right, before we move on to Protein Shake, anything you guys want to add about your Christmas watch list? Bane, are you first?
Nope. I mean, I think that there's some that, unfortunately, as they make better Christmas movies, there's some that get knocked off and we kind of forget about them.
Christmas with the Cranks next year. Done. Forget about it.
No, you should watch it. It's fun.
I'll try it.
Enjoyable.
Cycling, how about you?
I'll give a shout out to a guilty pleasure, Love Actually. It's pretty terrible, but I always love watching it.
I don't think it's bad at all. I like Love Actually.
It's pretty bad if you really think about it.
What's bad about it?
I mean, it's so overdone and corny and not authentically realistic at all.
Okay,
but...
the one story that I could definitely do without is the whole Keira Knightley and the guy from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, like that whole thing is weird and creepy. But it's I love it. Like you're not, for a Christmas movie, that's what it's supposed to be. You kind of put something on my list, like about happiness and love. And it's just, I don't know. Hugh Grant's charming like always in those movies. And I don't know. It's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right. On to our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what's in our cup, also known as What Have We Watched Lately. And we got a fun one for you today. I've watched a lot of stuff. one, two, three, four, 5 movies and 4 episodes of TV. One, I think we all know what we need to save for last, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll save
Um,
that for last.
all right. How many things did you guys watch, just so we can figure out how to dole this out? Banner.
You tell me how many things you want me to tell you that I watched, and then I can do that.
Do you have like 4 or 5? We can just all
Yeah.
alternate.
Okay. Yeah, I've got 9 things. Some of them are gonna go really, really fast. Others are gonna not go as fast.
All right, so we'll each go, but Banner, when you go, how about you do 2
Okay. I can
each
do
time?
that.
And again, actually, one of these you've already seen. So I'll just start with Frozen 2. Went and saw it in theaters.
Hearing good things.
I like Frozen 1. I'm not like one of these people that's like absolutely obsessed with it. It's the greatest Disney animated film, like contemporary version. Frozen 2 is good. It's a good movie. The animation is incredible. It has, I think, 1.5, possibly 2 solid bangers. But I'll say this, and other people I've talked to feel the same way. I don't know if I'm really fucking stupid, but the plot to this movie is so goddamn confusing. Like, it's insane, dude. I sat down afterwards, and my fiance and I were like drawing out on a piece of paper, like the steps that the characters take in the film, and I don't understand like anything that happens in the second act. So if anyone else here has seen it or does go see it, we need to do like a spoilers discussion because I have no goddamn idea what happens in this film.
Do they do Let It Go again?
They don't.
Good.
Because every parent in the country probably rejoiced if would have just wanted to shoot themselves if they had done that song again.
Yeah, I was hoping they didn't take the low hanging fruit and try to like do some
Do the same movie.
right, like a riff on it or something stupid. But I will say this: I'm not saying that the plot was bad. Maybe I'm just stupid and I didn't get it. But Banner again, Olaf, blech,
I can't fucking stand it, man.
get him out. Give me twice as much Sven and no Olaf, and I'll be
I
happy.
cannot fucking stand him.
It's the
And I
worst.
tried. So my wife posed this to me the other day. She said, "Do you just not like Olaf because it's Josh Gad, or like what if somebody else was Olaf?" And
I'll be honest, yeah, that's a big part of it.
it's a big part of it. I think Olaf would be tolerable if somebody else played him.
I would at least look. I'll be straight up. I would at least give him a fair shake if it wasn't Josh Gad. No chance I'd even give him the opportunity to win me back over.
No.
All right, Banner, to you.
All right, so I'm gonna get all these like quick ones out of the way here. I watched Dinosaur. Obviously, we have Disney Plus. So Dinosaur came out in 2000.
It's a movie?
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Okay.
Wait, I think I've seen this.
Basically, a dino egg gets lost, and it hatches, and this dinosaur is raised by monkeys.
Okay.
And then
set in like
meteor
1995.
shower.
Right?
Do what?
It's set in like 1995, right?
Yeah, of course. No, it's like, I don't know, historically accurate, I guess, as far as the time frame. But then they have like meteors come and they have to migrate and they hook up with other dinosaurs, and it's about them getting to this place without the other dinosaurs eating them. It's super fucking weird.
When you say hook up, does it mean like a dino orgy?
Kinda. Like at times there is.
At times there is. You had me at dino orgy. Would you recommend it, or how did you have to dig? Trust me, I've been balls deep in Disney Plus. You got to dig deep to find that.
I don't know if I'm embarrassed or proud that I got that deep.
Like, you got to scroll along. You almost Disney Plus is weird because like I don't think you could even scroll and find that. You definitely have to search.
Yeah. You know, you was Googling Dino Orgy in that movie.
No, I know why it came up. We've been watching a lot of like those nature documentaries because the baby likes them, and so I think it came up because of that. It's like, hey, it was one of the you might likes.
Okay.
Then after that, I watched The Good Dinosaur. I think I watched this not too long ago. Honestly, it was because it just auto played after Dinosaur, and I was too lazy to get up.
Who voices the good dinosaur? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'll look it up.
You look it up. It's a good movie. It's cute. It was fun. And that's
No
about all I
dino
got to say. No dino orgies in that one.
God.
Yeah.
Wow. losing me here.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna go ahead and throw another one out there while you're looking up who voiced the Good Dinosaur. Watched Brave for the first time as well.
What did you think?
That's
I actually liked it. I liked it. I think that
is that a Disney movie too? I can never remember.
yeah. I think it's pretty safe to assume for the next probably 6 months, everything I watch will be Disney.
Sorry, real quick. What's the Good Dinosaur character's name? Arlo?
Yes.
Okay.
Arlo is the main dude. In it.
Raymond Ochoa voiced him, but Jeffrey Wright did voice Papa.
Ah, yeah, that I recognize that now. I always forget how much like voice acting Jeffrey Wright has done.
He's a beast. Brave, we have Emma Thompson as a voice in it. Julie Walters.
I remember when I watched Brave, I found it overrated because when it had first come out, it was kind of up there with just how amazing it was and top Disney movie ever. I think I need to give it another shot because my wife and I really liked it, but we didn't feel the vibe that everyone was putting out there.
Yeah, I think give it another shot. I think it's a pretty simple story. I mean,
I remember it being like way different than what I thought the movie was.
It was completely different than what I thought it was going to be. I don't want to give anything away, but it's about family members fighting and how you always have to come together as a family.
Is it a musical?
There's a couple of songs.
Like they sing in it?
Yes.
Huh. With their little Scottish accents?
Yes.
And
they're
sounded really demeaning. I didn't mean
there are
they're little.
She has triplet brothers in it that are fucking hilarious. They don't talk and they like mime everything. And they're like little mischievous like rodents running around the castle. It's pretty funny.
Are they like infants or like what's the age?
They're like probably 2.5, like 2 maybe 2.5. Really young.
All right.
Cycly, what's something you've watched?
So I'm just gonna say the one thing I watched on Netflix recently, and then because everything else is Disney Plus, like everyone else in this country, The End of the Fucking World.
I need to watch the
next season. Is
that
a show? Because that keeps popping up.
Yeah, it's a show. It's takes place in Britain.
Of course.
Yeah, you know me. And so basically about so the second season just came out. So the whole premise of the show in the first season is you kind of have he's not psychotic, but kind of
he thinks he's a sociopath.
Yeah, he's a sociopath. That's a good way of saying it. Like he very much doesn't have friends. He's an outcast. His mom committed suicide while he watched when he was a kid. And he's like 17, 18 years old, and he doesn't really have any friends. He wants to he's murdered animals and he wants to murder a human. And then while he's plotting on murdering a human, the 17-year-old girl comes up to him and she's really filthy mouth and kind of cross and doesn't put up with shit. And she just took a liking to him. And basically it's these two outcasts who end up running away from home and kind of get into some trouble and some. I don't want to give any spoilers away because it's really good. It's really dark. It's funny, but it is.
I'm just very curious. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm very curious to how this second season starts. So we'll talk off pod.
I will say it starts off almost immediate, and it very much explains everything. I felt the transition between the seasons was really good. It to lure me in because the way season 1 ends, you do feel like there's a solid ending.
I thought there was no way they can do anymore.
And I think they
shame on me for thinking that, I guess.
Underrated how popular the first season was going to be. And so maybe they didn't think there was going to be a second season. But I won't give anything away. It is really well done, and it's super easy to watch. I think there's only 6 to 8 episodes in both seasons, and they're 19, 20-minute episodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's meant to binge watch, and I think it's fantastic writing. It's really original. The cast as well. The guy... He was in one of the Black Mirror
episodes. I just looked that up. Alex Lothar.
Yeah, and so I absolutely recommend it. So that's about it on Netflix, though. The Irishman is 100% in my queue. I just got to find 3.5 hours.
So on IMDb, it has The End of the Fucking World as adventure, comedy, crime. What would you say it is more of those 3 genres?
That's a pretty good description. When you say comedy, though, it's very
dark humor.
Yeah.
Like it's not it's very much like some people won't find it funny. Like I mean,
Is it like British dry wit? Because I like that.
It
I
has
can
dry
get that.
wit, but they're also into getting into situations. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but they get into some dark situations. I mean, they're 17, 18-year-old kids, again, who have kind of a weird way of looking at things. They run off. They don't have any money, you know, and the kind of the people they come across, and they get in a lot of trouble. And so basically, some of the dark stuff, it's just funny to us. So like what happens, but I can see a lot of people who think when they see comedy, this is not a straight up comedy. You will laugh, but I wouldn't call it a comedy.
It's like Coen Brothers humor where you laugh, but you're like, should I be laughing right now?
It's very much that kind of humor. I recommend it though. Banner, I think if you like the first season, they do a good job of luring you in on the second.
Nice.
All right.
Okay. I'll go. So I saw another piece of Netflix. I'll just call it Netflix trash because that's what it is. It was a Christmas movie called Let It Snow. I don't know if this has popped up on either of your guys' recommended. It has Jacob Batalon, who's Ned from the Spider-Man movies, like Peter Parker's friend. It has Shamik Moore, who is the voice of Miles Morales in Into the Spider-Verse. And then it has, I just wrote down, the chick who plays Dora the Explorer in the live-action Dora movie. And
why would you click to watch this?
So the trailer actually looks really good, man. It's like the point
How bored were you?
I was pretty bored. The plot synopsis is: in a small town on Christmas Eve, a snowstorm brings together a group of young people, and the trailer presents it as like Jacob Batalon is trying to throw this like sick ass Christmas Eve party, and everyone's like trying to get there on Christmas Eve.
It's so unrealistic. Christmas Eve, everybody's out of town.
Yeah. Hey
like,
guys,
that's the worst time to try and throw a party.
Well, I digress. It's really just like the whole movie, and I wrote this in our Letterboxd review. The whole movie is just like at the very end, probably like the last 10 minutes of the whole film, every character's arc is resolved in a way that just like makes no sense with the person we've been watching for the previous hour 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like they all just have these like really poorly written like ends to like their relationships with people, or like tying the bows together. It doesn't make any sense. It is based on a book, Banner, that I've actually heard is pretty good. So I'm interested to read that because this felt like they just didn't know how to take the pacing of a book and put it into an hour 20-minute screenplay.
Interesting.
Because there's scenes where they're like, please cry at this scene, and you're like, but you haven't
You haven't earned a tear.
Right, you haven't earned any of this. You don't just get my tears. So Let It Snow. Don't watch it.
More like Let It Know.
Jesus Christ. It's Christmas, dude. Have a little compassion. All right, Banner, back to you.
All right. So watched a documentary. It's actually an old one from I think 2004, maybe 2014. It's Empire of Dreams, and it's the documentary on George Lucas and Lucasfilms creating the original trilogy: A New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi.
I tried to watch this. It's just way too slow for me.
Well, it's slow. It's like it took me like 3 days, 3 or 4 sittings to watch.
It's long,
it's like
right?
2.5 hours. Yeah. George Lucas is such a pompous douche. Like the way that he
surprises no one.
Yeah, like the way that he is talking about how he went about getting the movie made. Here's a quote that he says. He says, "So and so believed in me," and he goes, "Yeah, they should believe in me. Like everybody else didn't, and that's egg on their face."
Jar Jar is the key to all of this. That's his best quote of all time.
Yeah, it was not good at all, but it was interesting. Like I was interested in a lot of it when George Lucas wasn't talking.
Yeah, the part that I saw, I got probably 30 minutes in, and they got to like how he got the first Star Wars financed, and then a little bit of interviews with Carrie Fisher, but it was just too many people that like I wasn't interested in, and they kind of seemed boring. And then I don't know. It's an interesting story, but I think it could be done in like 30 minutes instead of 2.5 hours.
Banner,
it did not need 2.5 hours.
So would you like between what the two of you have said? Would you say it's worth it, or just stay away and just take what you guys just said? Then
I mean,
Is there anything revealing that we really didn't know that you got out
there were
of it?
things that I didn't know, but I don't think that it was like because it wasn't public knowledge. I just didn't know that.
Well, you know what I would want to see, and I don't think that George Lucas would ever do this because it would turn into a hit piece. But I want to see this same documentary, but for the prequels.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I would
That
love
would
it.
be fucking
Yeah,
cool.
I would love the one-on-one with Jake Lloyd. I will sign me up for that.
They could call it "I Am the Senate."
I honestly want to see his audition tape because like there's no way they can match up. Like I don't know if there's a way to cheat on an audition tape.
I actually think I have seen it. It's that scene in Tatooine where he first meets Padme. It's pretty bad.
Interesting.
Basically, just pointing out that they didn't fix it for the movie. Empire of Dreams, right? Because I'm not going to go back and watch. Okay.
Yeah, Empire of Dreams.
Will you save me about 2
I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple more here. Live action Lady and the Tramp. It was fine. The CGI on the dogs was honestly subpar, and it's just crazy that I'm even like judging that because it's still incredible CGI. But when you take like Jungle Book and what they've done with Lion King and all of those, you're like, this is not. It's not good.
Can I jump in really fast because that's something I want to talk about is like the CGI with the new movies, live action, with doing with the animals. Is it just me? Because I felt this way about Lion King, and you and I talked about Lady and the Tramp. I feel like when we watched movies about talking animals in real life in the 90s, it wasn't this bad.
Well, this is what I'm actually glad you brought that up. So, like Homeward Bound, that's really the only example I can think of. They didn't even try to dub the animals' mouths. Remember? Like,
no.
So it was like their inner monologue. Would you prefer that to the CGI of them like talking? Like just no CGI, real animals acting, and then the talking is just like their inner monologue since the humans can't hear it anyway.
I don't know. I mean,
it's kind of lazy now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. And I think that we're just so used to multiple people talking at the same time and conversations. Like you would almost have to have subtitles on to know who's talking.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just like what's killing me about these movies because I want to love them. I want to love the new Lion King. I want to love like Lady and the Tramp, but there's no like heart in it.
That's what I said in Lady and the Tramp. I have this written down is that there's no magic. Like when you watch the cartoons, and we went and immediately after watch live action, we watched the cartoon one, and it has more magic in it. Like that's the only way I could.
Did the meatball scene work at all? The spaghetti scene, I mean?
Yeah, it actually did. It worked pretty good. And they didn't... I liked it, too, because they didn't change anything. They didn't try and fuck anything up.
I'm about 10 minutes into it. I just started it, like, when I was at the gym. I couldn't finish, obviously. But I got to the part right where Sam Elliott gets introduced, and he's great. And just a little bit.
He is really good. But
he's good at everything. Sam Elliott stands on the podcast. So would you recommend I watch it?
Yeah, I recommend it. Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, real quick. The Imagineering Story. This is a docuseries on how Disney built their theme parks from the original Disneyland in California all the way through. Right now we're at like mid 2000s in the story, but
so up your alley.
It is. Like I really, really enjoyed it. It's cool seeing how they did it, how they financed it, how the animation studio helped fund things, as well as was kind of the people that did the theme parks were always kind of the redheaded stepchilds of the Disney companies. And so it's interesting.
Which is crazy to me.
Right. And it's interesting too, like that they had a lot of struggles. And one thing I'm happy about is Disney did not shy away from the bad at all in this.
Oh wow, that's impressive for them.
Yeah, you never see that, and they straight up say, "This is what happened. This is what we did. This is what worked. This is what didn't work. This is why we did it." Things like that. And you talk to some of the retired engineers that worked for them, and they're pretty bitter at times.
Yeah, I'll say this: Disney, man. It's kind of weird for a company as successful as they are because I feel like they're very insecure about their public image to this day.
Oh, yeah.
So to hear that they kind of showed a little bit of the warts in it is a bit refreshing.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna watch this, and then it's a show, right? Like you just said,
Yeah,
not a.
it's a show, and they're like 55-minute, hour-long episodes.
Yeah, so I might just go pick out like the specific. Do I need to watch them in order, or can I kind of piecemeal? Do you need to? Can I?
I would watch them in order because it shows they do something one way and then they try and do it again and they show how it doesn't work and why it doesn't work. And so if you miss the early struggles, you don't understand later on. Um, we watched it in, I think we did 2 settings per episode. Obviously, it's Disney Plus, so they're coming out week to week. So we have to wait till Fridays to watch it. But I really enjoy it. It's not going to be for everybody, but
It's right
it's
down
the
your alley, though.
it is right down my alley. And it's the year of the documentary, so why not throw a good docuseries in there?
Very true.
And I don't know where this one fits in, but The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Have either one of you guys check this out?
It's in my like watch list, but for whatever reason, I have not gotten myself to press play on it.
Same here. You and I
It
were
is a
yeah.
great background show. Like you don't have to watch it to know what is going on. Basically, Jeff Goldblum researches
He's in it?
something. Yeah, it is classic Jeff Goldblum too. He just like randomly starts singing jazz and bebopping around.
Why does that sound so insufferable to me, even though I like him?
I don't know. That's what he does. Here are the topics that he's explained so far: sneakers, ice cream,
I needed some clarity on both of those, so thank you.
tattoos, and denim.
But you told me he doesn't like explain the history. Like what is he?
No, he explains the history.
Okay, he does. Okay.
And then he like goes and finds like why these things are so like sneakers. Why do people love sneakers so much? Why do they have sneaker con? What makes a good sneaker to different people?
Do you think for the topics they just took like every noun and put them in a hat and he just drew them out?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He could have got like bookshelves.
I would love to know the history of bookshelves.
It's like I said, it's a good background show. You're not going to sit down. They're quick. They're like 23 minutes. You're not going to sit down and be like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next. No, you're going to watch this in the background while you're doing dishes.
I'm kind of like, I just don't know why I haven't gotten myself to press play on it, but something internally is keeping me from doing it.
All right. All right. I'm down to what we're all going to talk about.
Yeah, I got a few more left. So, Cycly, why don't we let you?
I'll throw in just a couple. You guys remember the 90s? I've always wanted to rewatch this movie. I don't know why. But when Disney Plus came out and I found it, I was ecstatic. Do you guys remember the 90s Jonathan Taylor Thomas movie, Tom and Huck?
Yeah. Yeah.
I completely like.
I remember exactly what the VHS cover looked like.
Yeah, exactly. And
yellow writing and him like on the little raft.
No, white with red writing. You fucking idiot.
Oh.
And but you couldn't find it streaming anywhere, and probably could have downloaded it illegally. But I wasn't that desperate. So when I found it, that was one of the first things I watched on Disney Plus. And I don't know if it stands the test of time, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, you forget he was the guy in the 90s in terms of kid actors. It was like him and Macaulay Culkin, and
I think he was more popular than Macaulay Culkin.
He was definitely more of the heartthrob. I remember like my cousin had posters of him on the wall. The bad guy is named Injun Joe, so that tells you a lot.
Well, that's his name in the book, right?
Yeah, it's just.
But you can't keep that.
It's just
you could in the 90s.
Yeah, you absolutely could in the 90s. And you know what? If you want some nostalgia, absolutely go watch it. I remember being like, I remember this scene. It's absolutely ridiculous. But it was fun. It is bad, but it was a good time. And so that's basically what I've been doing on Disney Plus. I've been obsessed with watching all the things I can from when I was younger that I couldn't find. We're not talking about like Aladdin, Lion King, that kind of stuff. Rewatched a lot of Even Stevens. Checked out Smart Guy. Smart Guy, by the way, I have fun fact, and I did not know this growing up. It was not originally on Disney. It was actually a WB production. And 3 years after it was, or when it was completed, Disney bought syndication rights. And then 2001 to 2004, they put Smart Guy on, is when like people in our generation watched it. And it makes a lot of sense because if you go back and watch that show, they take on a lot of serious subjects. There's an episode where the sister is wanting to get breast implants. There's an episode where there's like pedophilia because he's a young
Yeah, I remember
kid.
that episode.
Like there's like race inequality, that kind of. There's an episode where like black people are being followed and stalked when they go into a store in the mall. And it makes a lot of sense when you found out like the show originally was not a Disney show. So that's held up a lot. Even Stevens, I was always one of my favorites. And then I went back and I kind of watched like the intros of all of the other ones, like Lizzie McGuire, Kim Possible, that kind of stuff. So I've had a lot of fun just going.
I was
back
never a
to...
Kim Possible fan.
Really?
Me neither.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I watched an episode of Lizzie McGuire with the fiance, and I don't think there's a show that is better with a lower production budget than Lizzie McGuire. I mean, like some of the gags that they do literally look like they were filmed by like a high school broadcast.
By the way, the little brother, Google this. I don't know. I've never seen anyone tweet this. I don't know if I'm the only one, if I'm crazy. The little brother and the lead singer of Muse look identical. So just Google both of those guys and just tell me what you think. There's a Lizzie McGuire show coming out, though.
Yeah, it's like a sequel show. Everybody's coming back, I think.
Yeah, everyone's coming back, and it's going to be really on point to our generation, us millennials. It's going to be her and her, like 31 years old and dealing with adult life. So kind of excited about that. But yeah, I've just been all over Disney Plus. I'm loving it.
She's still hot, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's definitely hot, dude. She was married to a professional hockey player for a little while. That didn't work out.
My crush was
unfortunately.
Stevens, like kind of like gothic punk girl.
Oh yeah, Tawny, was that her name?
Yep.
God, nice. I wonder what she's up to. Hit us up, Tawny.
You know she's a big fan.
A huge fan. We're like right down Tawny's lane. Anything else?
I mean, the one big one that we're all talking about. I was gonna throw in on the last one. I talked about last year was you remember the show You on Netflix?
Oh yeah, is that the sequel's out?
Comes out on December 26th. So
let's go.
I'm super pumped.
The way that season 1 ended, though, I'm like, oh, this like has promise, but you're probably gonna fuck this up.
I'm absolutely needing to do a rewatch in the next week.
The way season 1 ended was absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, so great.
Oh my god, I remember being like, they're not gonna do this, are they? And then they fucking did it.
Definition of a guilty pleasure show. Absolutely.
It's so weird, like the way that you can frame honestly any show if you film it the right way. I will be rooting for the most fucked up people.
Absolutely.
Like the whole time, I'm
since Dexter.
Yeah, I was like, please don't get caught. And then I'm like, this guy's doing some really fucked up stuff.
Why am I rooting for it?
Right? Why? Just because it's from his perspective and he's like pretty articulate? I don't know. All right, I'll run through a couple of these pretty quick. So, A Christmas Story, we talked about this. We did a commentary on it. And again, I was a little too harsh on it. And the leg lamp. I mean, that's iconic. I forgot to mention that earlier. Someone actually commented, I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, but that their dad owns the leg lamp on our movie.
Like the actual leg lamp or just a leg lamp?
Like he bought a version of the leg lamp.
My sister in Chicago owns one, and she has it on the like mantle window that goes
outside.
Yeah,
that's awesome. The Mandalorian, episode 4 of season 1. Banner and I did our review on this. We're absolutely loving the show. I have a theory that's probably 0% correct, but it's a fucking Hail Mary, and it would fix The Last Jedi. So check that out. We'll tease.
Definitely a Hail Mary.
Yeah, but Hail Marys get caught.
I'm on board with.
Yeah.
All
right. I watched. God, I have a lot of stuff here. Sorry, I'm trying to run through it. I watched Knives Out in theaters. Again, I hate to admit that I gave Rian Johnson my money, but I was very, very intrigued. And the cast was awesome, and I love a whodunit. I think Cycly is a fan. I know Nate Thurman is a huge whodunit fan. I think Cycly is too.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll say this about Knives Out, man. It's a good movie. I want one of or both of you guys to see it so we can talk about it. But Rian Johnson kind of does again what he did with The Last Jedi, where he kind of like oh, you think this is like a whodunit in the typical format of like we're going to set up all the dominoes, knock them all down at the end. He sort of likes to go against genre tropes or archetypes, and it's creative in a way what he does with this, like when and how you find out the reveal.
Yeah, but don't fucking do it with Star Wars.
Right.
Right.
And so that's the thing. I guess this is like a better venue to take a creative risk like this. So in that regard, I appreciate it, but also in that regard, like you already fucked it up with the Last
Did it
Jedi.
work better this time around though?
It did, and I actually think what he did to the whodunit and how you reveal who did it was pretty creative, and I think more movies will try and copy this. Because to my knowledge, I've not seen a movie that does what he did with in terms of like how you reveal something to people.
I'm on board.
Okay.
Real quickly, I watched 2 episodes of The Simpsons, the first and second one. This is on Disney Plus, so I'm gonna try and go back through just because The Simpsons is something obviously I'm very well aware of in the cultural zeitgeist, but I've never really. I know Cycly has probably seen a lot more of it than you and I have combined, but I want to go back through and give it a fair shake.
What I would say is stick through. Like first season, it's like the first season of Seinfeld. They're still figuring stuff out. When they really like the golden generation is season 2 through 10. Some will say 9, some will say 11. I say that's pretty much it. But almost every episode is just pure.
Either way, that's a pretty long prime for a show.
That's the thing. That's why it's so still even as bad as it's gotten now. Why it's always going to be considered one of the greatest.
So the first episode, Simpsons roasting on an open fire. I just could not believe, even for 1989, how bad the animation looked. And I don't mean that as a dig. I just mean like how far this shit has come in 20 years. And then the second one, Bart the Genius, is pretty funny. Bart like cheats on an IQ test, steals Milton's IQ test, and it gets put in this gifted school. And there was one line that I thought was really great as Principal Skinner is passing out the tests, because this is like so emblematic of school and how it actually is. But he says, "Don't worry, this isn't for a grade. It just determines your future social and economic status." And the kids are like, "Phew, thank God it's not a grade."
Something you're going to keep in mind, there's going to be characters that change voice and characters that change color once they like
color? Well, I don't see color anyway, so I won't notice that.
Yeah.
All right, last one before we get to the part we've all been waiting for. On Disney Plus, I watched I'll Be Home for Christmas with the aforementioned Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Love this movie.
And Jessica Biel is in it.
This is almost this is like an every other Christmas for me.
Yeah,
I love
it
that
might
movie.
be in the rotation.
It's a good movie.
I had, of course, seen it before, but I forgot exactly like how the plot sets itself off, and it's pretty entertaining. It was a really, really quick watch, and I don't know. I love JTT, man. He's just. I wish he was still interested in acting. To my knowledge, he just got like sick of being in Hollywood, right? Like nothing happened. Have you guys heard anything else?
He just decided like once he was like a young adult that he was like, yeah, I think I'm done.
I think I could be completely wrong because I know Macaulay Culkin was like this, but I think there was also like parent issues.
Oh yeah, like taking his money and stuff.
Being like torn apart.
But this has got to be pretty close to his last acting role.
It's the last one that I remember him in. Like before, I don't remember him in things. Did that make sense?
Actually, I think it did.
Yeah.
God.
I think it made perfect sense.
It's like the third time in 3 weeks that I've said something and I don't know if it makes sense or not, but then you guys confirm that it does.
And I love how we could easily look up if he was in something after All I Want for Christmas, but that's not really
gonna happen. It's not our
How
style.
How old was he?
Well, it was in '98. I know that. So I think it was like 3 years after Home Improvement.
Probably early 20s, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
make a comeback. You know how nostalgic everyone is in our generation. If he made a comeback, everyone would be all over it.
So now that I have his filmography pulled up, dude, he was actually in. This is pretty cool. How did they not make a bigger deal of this? But Tim Allen's new sitcom that just got canceled, Last Man Standing. He was in 4 episodes of it.
Oh, I saw.
Shit.
I saw a commercial about that.
They should have made a big deal about that. Besides that, he was really he did like a few TV spots. But nothing more than
just enough to keep his beak wet.
He did a movie in '99 called Walking Across Egypt, which I actually kind of remember, which is like a drama. But then that was it, man.
I'm on board with his comeback.
Let's start that. Put it on Twitter.
Yeah, we'll bring him back.
We should definitely tweet that.
Dude, he's like so fucking cool. He's probably not on Twitter. All right, that brings us to the Coupe de Gras, which if you're at home, you're like, what the hell have they been building up so long? Don't worry, it will not live up to the hype. And that is, we're going to talk about High School Musical, the series, season 1, episode 4.
HSMTMTS for short.
Did you have to write that down?
He did. He
Yeah.
was
I've been practicing it for 3 days.
HSMSSTS. All right, so sorry, Cycling.
In text, I love writing out the whole title.
Yeah, you have to. Just pay it its respect. So before we get into the discussion, if you didn't listen to, was it our last episode or 2 episodes ago that we made the bet?
I think it was last episode.
So our last episode, Banner and I made a bet on EJ and Nene, of course, the couple everyone's talking about. Will they stay together? And we set the over-under at 4.5 episodes, meaning they would have to make it through episode 4 and still be dating. I took the under, Banner took the over, and we bet a Shiner cheer on it. And Banner is, if he's a man of anything, it's his word. And I went over to his house over Thanksgiving break, and he actually gave me a 6-pack of Shiner Cheer for my birthday, and then 3 additional Shiner Cheers in the event that he was going to lose the bet. And then on top of that, for some reason, he Venmo'd me $5.
He was feeling really generous.
So I'll just send you that back next time I see you. But Psycho, let's just start with you first because you haven't got to talk about it on the show. What are your thoughts of this series in general? Like, I don't even think we ironically like it anymore. I just actually like it.
I love it.
Yeah. So I got into the game a little later than you guys, mainly because you guys sold it to me. And the wife and I really were reluctant, like, okay, let's just watch the first episode. It's going to be stupid. And then we can, like, humor you and be like, yeah, we watched it. I think about 5 minutes into the episode, I look over and I'm unironically like, I really like this.
Was she like, fuck, I do too?
Yeah. I think it's because, when you're thinking about it, because you look back, the real High School Musical movie, it's just a Disney Channel original movie. It takes itself seriously. The first impression you get is they know exactly what they're doing with the show.
Absolutely.
They're
what
here.
they're doing is the only way it would work.
And absolutely. So I kind of sold a couple other people on it. I just said, just watch the first episode, because that's what you're going to get with the rest of the show. If you like the first episode, it's going to be nothing but that. I have found myself literally laughing out loud more times than I have at other shows that are, supposed to be, hilarious. So I've been really, really impressed, unironically. Yeah, it is absolutely ridiculous. It is really corny. But
it knows it's corny, and it's like trying extra hard to be corny. I don't know.
It's kind of like the reverse Ryan Johnson, where like if you're like taking it more seriously than it takes itself, you are the one who looks like an asshole.
Oh, exactly.
Exactly.
Where it's Ryan Johnson's the reverse. Like if you take it seriously and he's not, he looks like a dickhead.
And not everything needs to be like some artistic masterpiece. Like this is exactly succeeding in what it's meant to do.
It is pure entertainment.
I mean,
yeah, completely.
Every character in it is essentially lampooned for liking High School Musical.
Yeah.
Like they're all made to look stupid because they liked the movie High School Musical.
And the way they make fun of it, like RJ's a freaking co-water polo captain. That's my favorite. Like he's the popular jock by being a co-water polo captain. Like
and even the songs they sing are like kind of meta, like borderline catchy, kind of meta.
You guys might have talked about this, but the song that Nene and RJ's cousin sing,
incredible.
Is a
it was a pretty good song.
It's an incredible song.
I think all the original. I'd listen to that soundtrack every once in a while of the original songs so far.
But they're okay. So, Banner, I know you and I love the original High School Musical soundtrack. They've kind of tickled our balls with like little bits and pieces of renditions of that, but they haven't given it us full on. Do you think at the end of the season we will see like pretty much not the holistic performance, but like a pretty solid chunk of the performance of the movie?
I'm hoping so.
Because they won't even show like, and I get there, like, dude, if you saw the movie, we're not going to show us reading the script again. But I'm kind of curious to see how these, like, their take on the movie, if that makes sense.
I think that's going to be the season finale. I bet.
That's what we all want, man.
They've already been picked up for a second season.
So what are they gonna do? The second one?
I don't
They
know.
should get even more meta.
They should just do this with like all of the Disney Channel original movies, but the same cast. Like they put on plays of all the.
I
Like
would
Smart
watch that.
House.
Like Smart House and Brink.
Yeah, it's too easy.
Johnny
Cheetah.
Tsunami.
So Banner, we just got to talk about this. EJ and Nene obviously did not make it.
How fucking close was I though?
Well, so we had the debate because she didn't officially say the words "I break up with you," but when she blocked his number, that was it. It was
That
done
was
at that
it.
point.
That was the nail in the coffin. But
I don't know.
you
This
you
generation
said
blocks numbers like nothing, and they unblock. I wouldn't say it's official.
It's official. I mean, now if they can get back together, but they are right now broken up. You know, like you can't.
I've waved the white flag. Yeah, I gotta say they're broken up now, and maybe that's because we're old and we don't get it. But
That's
they're broken up.
definitely it too. Yeah, because people at home are like, "Well, what did he DM her Visco account?" And I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck even is that?" I don't know. So are any of us surprised that they didn't make it? And like, let's just make a prediction. Do they get back together this series? Because Ricky's got a lot of emotional baggage going on. I made a prediction. I think he's going to move to Chicago at some point, either during the season or at the end of the season.
I like that theory. Him and Nene definitely aren't going to get together, but they're going to reconcile. Like, they're going to be friends, but they're not going to get back together. I don't know about AJ and Nene. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I think EJ and Nene get back one more time. I don't know if his next episode, but they're going to at least kiss again. But
yeah,
it's going to be really short-lived.
Like she'll regret it instantly or something.
Yeah, and then she'll realize that he's not the one for her.
Can I put a prop bet on the board here in Vegas? EJ's cousin will hook up with the redheaded stagehand.
Oh, I've been waiting.
I think no. I think that she's gonna hook up with Nene's friend.
Nene's friend.
The black chick.
So they're. Oh, I didn't know they were lesbians.
I don't know. I don't know if they are. I'm just throwing it out there, making bold predictions here.
Woke.
Speaking of the redheaded kid who Ricky tried to stay the night at his house, let me read you the text exchange Cycly and I had regarding him. So Cycly says on Thursday, quote, watching episode 4 of HSMTMTS and just died laughing at the sleepover scene with the sleep apnea machine and the noise box. And I said, dude, the noise of the baboons like killing each other, why would that even be on there?
That's been my favorite scene in the whole show so far.
It's like a violent gang fight of monkeys. Like, how does that help anyone sleep?
But I love they're like best friends, and his first time ever to sleep over. He's like, "Oh, I got the sleep apnea machine. I got this. I got that." He's like, "What the hell have I walked into?"
Ricky's like, "I would rather go back to my home that's being like internally torn apart, and my dad leaves chicken wings on the floor than fucking try and deal with this."
I had a big problem with the chicken wings on the floor. Like that's just nasty.
Yeah. But the guy needs a sleep apnea machine. He's literally 90 pounds. I'm pretty sure sleep apnea machines are for like 300-pound 65-year-olds.
Maybe that's like basically what he is.
I don't think sleep apnea discriminates based on your age or your weight.
I mean, in the movie Hall Pass, I believe it's Jason Sudeikis' his character has sleep apnea, and that's pretty medically accurate. That movie. Yeah, no, I thought that was hilarious. There was some other show that I watched recently where a guy had like a ridiculous like white noise machine, and I think that is just a hilarious trope. Like something that helps you sleep that is just so counter.
So I think I texted you guys this. Ricky is Atkins Diet Andrew Garfield.
Wow.
That's true. Atkins Diet Andrew Garfield. Wow, shout out to Atkins Diet. It hasn't been around like a decade.
They're making a comeback with Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
All right, anything you guys want to add before we move on to the last part of our show, which we actually missed last week, but
the teacher's war is dumb. I hate that. I think that's stupid. But they're gonna fuck.
I think he was moved by that song.
And he wasn't even in the last episode, if I remember right. Episode 4. He was just.
No, I don't think he was. I don't think he was. But either way,
trying to play like she's an imposter. She's not who she is. She is. So maybe there's gonna be some reveal.
I think there's gonna be something going on with like whoever her dad is, or whoever she keeps talking to on the phone. Do you
Yeah.
think anyone from the original movie will show up?
I bet you we get a cameo.
Chad might. He's not doing a whole lot these days.
Is that which one's that?
That's the kid with the poofy hair.
Corbin Bleu, I believe is his name. But he
Yeah.
spells blue like Bleu.
Bleh.
Corbin Bleu.
I would love it if Vanessa Hudgens or Zac Efron came back, but I can't see either of those. I mean, I think Zac Efron would be down for it, but I think his schedule's too busy. I think Vanessa Hudgens want nothing to do with.
She's filming Bad Boys for Life, cyclically, okay? So she didn't have time either. Jesus. All right, on to the last part of our show. Banner, did you want to ask us something first? You like attacked the mic. That is our question and answer segment called Do You Even Lift Bruh, where we dig up a question from the internet and we answer it on our show. Today's question comes to us from Reagan Lovig at the Reegs, and he asks, or she asks, I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I'm a fucking asshole. I should have looked at your avatar. The question is, what are some of your biggest commonly occurring pet peeves in movies? For example, one of mine is when someone hangs up a phone and it goes to dial tone. That never happens in real life. And I've actually seen
that's
this.
super annoying.
Well, I've seen this in movies with like cell phones where it makes no sense at all because your phone wouldn't even have a dial tone. Cycly, do you have one? Because I'm imagining if you do, it's probably going to be pretty hilarious.
I have two. The Wilhelm scream is my number one.
I love the Wilhelm
Do
scream.
you? Okay, because
Yes.
it takes me.
It absolutely takes me out too.
It
And
takes me out of it. Like, it's in Lord of the Rings. Like, I mean, it's in serious movies. It's not just like, oh, they're throwing a Wilhelm scream. I think I looked up the statistics. Since, it's 416 movies or something like that the Wilhelm scream is used in. If you don't know what the Wilhelm scream is, you've absolutely heard it. Just Google it, YouTube it really fast. But it's the same guy. It's a recording from, what, the 40s?
yeah.
And he's going, ah! And
It's basically like R2's scream, kind of.
Yeah, and it's been used in just like, it's kind of nowadays, it's like an homage or like it's just pay respect. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter what movie I'm watching. The more serious, the more I hate it because it absolutely takes me out of it. The first thing I go is, oh my God, it's a fucking Wilhelm scream. And I just get distracted by it. Now, in the other comedy movies, like when action doesn't belong in a comedy movie and like some scene blows up, like in Anchorman, and they throw in the Wilhelm scream, I love it then. That's funny. But I hate it when it's a serious movie gets thrown in there.
Yeah, because I, for whatever reason, always notice it. Like,
oh, yeah. You can't not notice it. Once you hear it.
Once you know what it is, it's hard
Yep.
not to hear it.
That's a really good one. But yeah, I kind of appreciate it, but it totally takes me out of whatever I'm watching.
Yeah.
That wasn't like a pet peeve of mine until just now. Like
Yeah,
now that
you don't think about
now
it.
that you're like talking about it, I'm like, yeah, that is kind of fucking annoying.
Also, if you're an editor and someone's like, put in the Wilhelm scream, I'd be like, dude, really?
Like, why? I just don't understand its purpose anymore. Like, does it save you that much money on budget?
It's probably more expensive.
Yeah.
The Wilhelm family's fucking in Cabo. Like, thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Is this guy getting paid royalties? I don't know. And my other one, I think I've talked to you guys about this before off pod. It's when rich people lose all their money in the movie for some reason or another. And then within a day, their house is foreclosed upon. They have lost all their possessions. And I'm like, that
does happen quick.
How it works. Like, take The Dark Knight Rises for a second. He loses all that money in the stock market. Let's not even talk about the fraud that took place. But the bank immediately shuts off the electricity, the water, and forecloses on the house. Like, that house has been in his family for generations. Secondly, you're telling me he had a 30-year mortgage, fixed rate? You have to be 2 months late on a mortgage to get foreclosed upon.
And how do they not own Wayne Manor outright at this point?
Exactly, but this happens in any film. Like, really think about any film where a rich person loses their money. They immediately lose all of their possessions. The credit card companies come to repo. I'm like, they actually owned that stuff, like, full stop. They weren't in debt.
And the thing about The Dark Knight, it's all stock, so it's not even like his liquid assets. Like, I'm sure he just had millions of dollars in the bank account, not tied up.
He lost lots of little pieces of imaginary paper.
It's like everyone saw Bane walk into like the stock market. Like, no one's
We're
like,
not
oh.
even get to the debate of what investigations were going to take place. With the bank having the audacity to come the next day, I just want to know what his mortgage is. Like, it's been in his family for 200 years. You got to be almost done, right? But
Yeah,
that's a big one for me. I'm like, that they don't even keep.
Well, they took out a 250-year mortgage, Cycly. I mean,
yeah, their interest rate must have been just raping them because it was like, how are you guys still paying for this? All right, Banner, how about you?
all right. So mine very similar to the telephone one, but is when people are just casually reading a book. It's 2019. Nobody reads a book. They either read it like on their phone or a tablet. Right, but I listen to them. It's different.
Okay.
And most people are going to be like watching Netflix or watching YouTube, not reading a book. Like,
that's fair.
Come on. It's not realistic. Like, I am perfectly fine with something not being real or like being imaginary or being silly, but at least make it believable.
I just don't know how often I see that in movies, but it would piss me off, I guess, in certain situations. Although sometimes it's like kind of creepy. Like if Hannibal Lecter was reading a book in like a modern day version, you'd be like, dude, this guy's a fucking psycho.
Yeah, it could be used in like horror movies, I suppose.
It what? Cycling?
Oh, Hannibal Lecter with like a Kindle.
Yeah.
Really wouldn't be as intimidating.
He's playing like the word search app on it too. He's not even actually reading it.
He's got like those like really cheap, thin like reading glasses that you get from Walgreens.
That are never like up fully onto the bridge of your nose. They're always like pushed down on your face.
There's like hanging off your nostrils.
You got another one or just
no, that's it.
Mine are pretty small. One that I really hate. You don't see this as much in movies now, but like movies in like the 70s and 80s, dude, it was bad. And it's when people are driving a car down a straight road and they're like moving the steering wheel back and forth excessively. Yeah. Can you imagine like what that would look like driving behind that guy? Like, dude, get the fucking in the middle of the lane.
So
when they're driving,
or go faster.
Right. Yeah, it's just swerving all over the road.
And whenever they're driving too, not only that, but like they're never looking at the road. They're always looking like at whoever they're talking to.
That stuff actually makes me nervous in movies. Like I'll get like tense stuff. I'm like, dude, can you watch the road? And I'm not even in the car with the guy. Another one, dude, this happens way more often than it should. And I understand completely that sometimes it's character or plot serving, but a lot of times it's not at all. And it just really bothers me. And it's when two characters are having a phone conversation in a movie. And one of them says, I love you. And then the other person doesn't say it back and hangs up the phone. It happens a lot.
I get a phone call immediately calling back. Like, what the hell?
Did you not hear what I said?
Yeah.
I love you. Yeah, no, I heard you. I just wasn't going to say it back. What, do you not love me? No, I absolutely love you. Okay, so what's the problem here? Probably happens more in like
real life.
Grey's Anatomy. To me in real life.
I just thought of one really quickly. That made me think of one more. When a character goes to a bar and they just order a beer, and they say, "I will have a beer."
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen. Like,
or like when bartenders like slide your drink to you. No one in the service industry would ever do that.
I'll have the regular. I'll have beer. Like they never ask a question. They're always.
Or they order the beer and then immediately leave the bar. And that shit's like $7. Yeah.
They never pay. They don't have a sip of their beer and they walk out.
You know what you rarely see too in movies? Somebody walks into a bar in like real life, we have to fucking wait behind 7 people. They normally can just walk straight up and order.
And the bartender knows them and has their drink ready to go.
Yeah. If only life were like that. Yeah, you go to a bar now, you're like, what's up, man? He's like, what can I get you? I don't know you. You're like, okay, we had a really important talk last weekend. You got me through some shit, but I guess we're going to do that now. All right, before we end the show, Cycly, what do you want to leave the people with on episode 95?
A Merry Christmas to all and to all good night.
Oh, that's nice. No matter when you're listening, go to sleep after you listen to this episode.
Unless you're still driving.
Banner, I know you got Old Faithful locked and loaded. Anything else you want to add to it?
Nope. But please, please, please pull over for emergency vehicles.
I got to say, this week I did not see anyone not pull over for an emergency vehicle.
Good. See, we're changing the world.
Yeah, but who knows? Next week I might see it again. These fucking psychos out there on the road. Probably because these people are driving like the guys in movies where they just move.
That's exactly what it is. So maybe movies are realistic.
God damn it. All right, for our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli, and the mad scientist, Brian Boehner, I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. I know we'll talk to you again, but hope you have a great holidays. Follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. Just type in Bro Force Squad, 3 separate words. Type in those same 3 words on letterboxd.com to read all of our movie reviews and check out everything that we do on our website, broforcesquad.com. Till next time, we need to go say I love you to someone on the phone who will not say it back.
And then when we hang up, then it'll go like the dial tone.
Dude, I'll Be Home for Christmas is so old that a big part of the plot point in the beginning involves pagers.
I remember that because his pager died, right?
Well, these guys are cheating on the